I'll admit, this isn't the sort of story you tell just anyone. I have never told anyone, but I guess when you go through something so strange, so surreal, there is a part of you that wants to share it to finally let it out. Maybe, just maybe, I can do that now. The truth is, I wasn't alone that day. There were two of us, me and my best friend at the time, Anna. Anna and I had been inseparable since high school. We weren't like the other girls, or at least that is what we told ourselves. Different. We weren't afraid. We didn't fear to talk about things that others wouldn't even dare mention. There was a thrill in challenging, in exploring things which others would never explore. That's what bound us together, the shared feeling of not being afraid to push boundaries. At 22, we were back home, university hadn't worked out, and life felt pretty aimless. It was summer, and we spent most of our time in my backyard talking about nothing in particular, or the silly things we used to do when we were younger. We were stuck in a small same circle with the same people, same routines, everything was the same. We knew it, and maybe that's why we kept on seeking means of escape. That day started like any other. My parents were out of town for the weekend, and Anna had come over to keep me company. We grabbed a few beers from the fridge and headed to the backyard. Max, my family's German shepherd, trotted alongside us as usual. He was a big, lovable dog, the only real companion I had in that house, always around, always there. After all these years, he was practically part of the family. Anna and I lay down on the grass, the sun shone directly on us, and the afternoon felt slow and hazy, emerging from everything and nothing at the same time. The conversation, as it always did, veered towards darker realms, the one that seemed to keep us connected. Anna loved joking about all the things she wanted to do, which normal people would find disgusting, shocking, or just so wrong. She loved shocking, and I loved playing along. Have you ever thought about doing something really strange? Anna asked, turning on her side to look at me. There was that smile on her lips that I'd seen hundreds of times. She always started a conversation this way when she tested the boundaries of how far we could go. I shrugged. What kind of thing? She raised an eyebrow and then tilted her head toward Max, lying a few meters away and panting lazily in the heat. I laughed at first. It was the kind of joke Anna made when she wanted to provoke a reaction. But then I looked at her again, and something was different in her eyes. It wasn't a joke. The idea had taken root in her, and now she was pushing it. She looked at me challengingly, as if to see how far we could go. I didn't fully get it, but something in her eyes made me aware it wasn't a joke. I didn't interrupt her as she got up and moved to Max, didn't say anything when she knelt next to him, and didn't say anything when she turned to me with that mocking expression that dared me. It was almost like some kind of game, something neither one of us had planned on. Anna reached down and started petting Max, who remained in place, his tail wagging happily with the attention. But when Anna's hands moved, something changed in him. He reacted in a way I did not anticipate. His body moved, his tail wagging furiously. He likes it, she said in a low voice. A swirl of tension formed in my stomach, a weird combination of excitement and fear. This was wrong, so wrong. But I didn't say anything. I was just watching Anna. And before my brain registered the fact, I was up. I knelt beside her. At that point, I wasn't thinking, merely reacting to an instinct built from that strange thrill of the moment, the need to feel something. The line had already been crossed, and there was no going back now. Max responded hotly, leaning into us, and I felt the heat radiating between us. Anna looked up at me, eyes wide with excitement, her breathing faster. She was wholly lost to the intensity of the moment, and in that second, I knew I was too. It didn't take much longer than that for things to progress. I should have felt I was repulsed. I should have stopped. But I didn't. While she gave in completely, the turn came to me. Anna moved away after a few minutes, out of breath, her face flushed. She looked at me with shining eyes, with a kind of brightness I'd never seen before. Without uttering a word, she nodded toward Max, and I hesitated for a while as my mind screamed for me to stop. I couldn't do it every time. I closed my eyes, letting time pass, and when the moment ended, it was like a massive wave crashing over me. I screamed. I had never experienced anything like this before, and I knew, even then, that I would never forget. Then I collapsed beside her, exhausted. Max wagged his tail and began licking our faces as if nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. I was silent but could feel the weight of what we had done. I didn't know what to say, and judging by the look on Anna's face, I knew she didn't either. The thrill, the moment, it was all still there, but now came the guilt, the shame, the realization that we had crossed a line that could never be undone. Anna was the first to break the silence. "That was something," she stammered. I felt unable to find words to respond in return. It was something wrong, something I couldn't fully comprehend, not even now. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Anna left shortly after, and I spent the rest of the night trying to make sense of what had happened. But no matter how hard I tried, I could not shake off the memory of the pleasure I had felt completely out of control. That night, lying in bed staring at the ceiling, I replayed the events over and over in my head. I wanted to feel shame, but the truth was, a part of me didn't regret it. A part of me wanted more. I did not know what to do with my life or this feeling. It was something I had never admitted to anyone, not even Anna. Because no matter how buried it was, no matter how awful I felt, it was also the best thing that I had ever done and experienced. At any rate, what happened that day changed the way I looked at the world and, more important, how I looked at myself. It was a moment where I crossed a line I didn't even know existed, something I never imagined I would be capable of doing. I won't justify what happened. Guilty of knowing what we did was wrong, immoral, the weight of that guilt continues to haunt me. Yet, at the same time, I realized there is a latent darkness in each and every human being, a primal impulse that at times cannot be curbed. Over time, Anna and I drifted apart. Neither of us could stand to look each other in the eye after that day, knowing what we had done and what we had shared. The guilt and shame consumed us, but also forced us to confront parts of ourselves that, music, applause, were undeniable and would always remain, buried deep within, a shadow inhabiting the darkest corner of my mind. Now that I've told this story, even anonymously, I hope I can finally let go of the weight I've carried for so long. But I also know that some scars never fully heal. And hey, everybody! If you liked this story and want to hear more like this one, please subscribe, put a like, and get every week really cool stories. Activate the notifications so you don't miss anything, and leave your comment below with all of your suggestions. Thank you for watching.